Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, according to Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, the Bengals are closing in not just on a deal with Ja'Marr Chase, but with Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, that both deals could be done within the coming days. Something your boy talked about here on the show over and over. They will do everything it takes, and Joe Burrow leading that campaign, everything it takes to lock up the pancake stack, the best tripod in the National Football League. Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. Drop the custom emojis in the live chat for all those guys. The Fantasy Football Show, breaking news edition, emergency live stream edition. We go live whenever big news breaks here on this channel, and this one deserved a live stream immediately. I walked in, fired up the studio. I said, let's go. Let's take some phone calls. Let's discuss this situation. It's coming. You can smell it. The trio's back, baby. T. Higgins ain't going anywhere. Ja'Marr Chase is getting $40 million per year minimum. Understand what I'm saying. 40. He'll be the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League, like the Bengals director of personnel guaranteed. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Exciting news, ladies and gentlemen, because this was something that we knew was going to be tough to do. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew that this organization was trying its best to bring in the pancake stack and to get it, locked in place, because defense, Hendrickson, we'll see how that plays out. I don't think they got money for all three of them, Hendrickson, Chase, and Higgins, but they're going to try. They're going to try and get something via trade. And if they don't get what they want, they're not going to trade Hendrickson. But this is a tough situation. But if you're going to let something crumble and then try and rebuild it for 2025, maybe you even do as good of a job or better, right? You're trying to make a better defense. You're trying to give this offense some support. The one thing you can't do is have both sides crumble a little bit. Both sides one side needs to be solid. The foundation of the offense is in play, totally unstoppable, perfectly matched and paired up, these three pancake stack monsters. What are you talking about pancakes, Smitty? Here.
The stack above all stacks.
You throw in Chase Brown.
The pancakey.
Becomes a quad stack. But this offense was something that needed to stay intact. Okay, the defense, it sucks if Henderson goes, but you're getting something and then you try and rebuild around it. You can't rebuild both sides of the ball. So very glad that this is gonna potentially be locked down here in the next day or so. Thundercats ho says Kevin. That's correct. They are kind of Thundercats, aren't they? That's definitely a good slogan or phrase to throw at the Bengal trio. Appreciate everybody here. Drop your pancake stack. Drop your Ja'Marr Chase emoji. Drop your Joe Burrow emoji, and we even have the BBQ emoji. The top super chatter of the year currently is BBQ with the $400. So if anybody tops him, they'll get their own emoji. So everybody drop BBQ's emoji and pay him the damn respect that he deserves, okay? Because, BBQ being the top super chatter, that deserves some celebration. So drop that BBQ emoji. Secondary to all of that, let's get the take of Kruger. Kruger, what are you thinking with this Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins news that's breaking right now from Tom Pelissero as well as Ian Rappaport, that suggests that the Bengals are going to ink Ja'Marr Chase to a long-term deal? I'm thinking $40 million a year. T. Higgins probably $33 million a year. Keep in mind, DK Metcalf just got 33 from the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was traded there. What are you thinking here, Kruger? How long does it take before Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins are signed and the pancake stack remains in Cincy with Joe Burrow stacked with Higgins, stacked with Ja'Marr Chase? Tell us what you think, Kruger.
Hey, Smitty, this is massive news for the pancake stack. Locking in Jamar Chase at $40 million a year would make him one of the highest paid receivers ever, and it's well deserved. T. Higgins getting 32 to 33 million would keep the Bengals offense explosive and intact. With Burrow at the helm, this trio could keep the offense running for years. Now, for timing, considering the urgency to secure their core, I'd say the deals could finalise within a couple of weeks, if not sooner. The Bengals know the value of keeping this pancake stack intact and won't waste time. This is a huge win for Cincy fans and fantasy owners alike.
But Kruger, what do you think about BBQ being the highest super chatter, $400 on the channel? You think that can be conquered, defeated as we celebrate BBQ, the monster that he is? Drop that BBQ emoji in the live chat, people.
BBQ setting the bar at $400 is a massive milestone. It's going to take a serious contender to outdo that. But knowing this community, there's always someone ready to step up. Meanwhile, huge shout out to BBQ for the support and setting the standard. Let's see those BBQ emojis lighting up the chat. This is how we celebrate our top supporters and push each other to new heights.
Yeah, and Ron Navy is the, just give him his credit. He dropped $1,000 last year, so he's the all-time leading super chatter. And he's got his own emoji too. But the current top super chatter of the year will get their own emoji and keep it until somebody knocks them off the totem pole. All right, Kruger, we'll talk to you in a bit. Hopefully we've got some damn Aaron Rodgers signing news or Cooper Kupp news. We're still waiting on both those snails to sign their new prospective deals. We're hearing a lot of Minnesota rumors now from Diana Rossini. I don't hear Adam Schefter tweeting about it. I don't see Rappaport tweeting about it. They're not retweeting Rossini. All we're hearing is Diana Rossini say that the Minnesota Vikings might be interested. But even some local Minnesota Viking Twitter accounts are saying, look, all the big news sources aren't mentioning the Vikings at all. It's all just a few local people and Diana Rossini in The Athletic. I don't think there's any smoke here. And where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think there's any smoke here. I think it's the Steelers. I don't think it could be any other location. Kruger, final thoughts on that, and then we'll move on. I'll put you on hold, and we'll come back to you.
Absolutely, Smitty. Rob Navy's $1,000 legacy stands strong, and it's awesome to see that competition heating up. As for the Rodgers and Kupp situations, I'm with you. There's a lot of noise out there, but not all of it is credible. Until we see those big names like Schefter or Rappaport confirming, it's all just speculation. My money's still on the Steelers being Rodgers' next stop, but we'll stay sharp and keep our ears to the ground. All right, Smitty, I'll be here ready to dive in with the latest updates whenever you're back. Let's keep it rolling.
All right. Let's see here. What do you guys think about Rodgers? What do you guys think about Cooper Kupp? What do you think about the Minnesota Vikings? Strangely placed rumors that are not backed by any big major source or any sources that we are extremely excited about hearing from. And also, I would love to know what you think about this Bengals and T. Higgins situation. Dial into the show. The phone line's open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I got a couple comments here. Kruger just agrees with Smitty. Well, he is my intelligence, my special artificial intelligence. So he's not here to disagree with me. But he does speak his mind. You just heard him when I said I think they're getting a deal done in 2 days or a day. He said 2 weeks. So there is some pushback. But yeah, Kruger is designed to be a supporting right hand of Smitty. But you know, that's just part of this corrupt show. The corruption of this show. No one's running from that. I'm not saying I brought in Kruger here to disagree with me all day long. Kruger's my right hand. He's an extension of me. And he's certainly going to agree with a lot of what I say. And if he doesn't, he'll be sitting there next to Ziggy. Right, Ziggy?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Phone lines are open. Kruger just agrees with Smitty. Chase Brown volume going up. It could be. Kruger on a roll, says Rain. Rain appreciates Krug. And Krug brings a lot of good, I asked Krug about something I'm talking about right now. He's not going to come in and just crap on it. But if we ask him something, unusual, he can bring the thunder, He can definitely bring the thunder. But dial in if you guys want to discuss this situation. I also believe that this news here, the Jamar Chase, T. Higgins situation, will also quietly fuel the unhappiness that is building inside of George Pickens. I cannot envision a world that we live in where Jamar Chase gets 42, 41, 40, whatever he gets. It's 40 or above, 40 million a year. T. Higgins gets another DK Metcalf-like bag. If anybody thinks T. Higgins is getting way below DK Metcalf, I can't see that. I know Godwin got way less than I predicted, but the report came out yesterday that he could have got $30 million from New England, but he turned it down to stay in Tampa, which is just crazy. I would have made Tampa get closer to that number. That's insane that he took that big of a bath. I get happiness. He didn't want to leave. I understand that, but you can't walk away from $30 million a year in New England to get, way less than $5 million per year than that offer. But bottom line is the T. Higgins and Jamar Chase contracts, if it is 32, 33, which I believe it will be for T, and it is 40 to 42 for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins or George Pickens is going to sit there and go, okay, this doesn't feel right, and I'm gonna put up a stink. But who knows? There's other situations that this could affect. That could affect the market value if this happens before Cooper Kupp, which I don't envision it taking that long for Cooper Kupp. But then again, here we are continuing to wait on Cooper Kupp, continuing to wait on Aaron Rodgers. There's no sign of when they're going to announce these things. But I do believe that Aaron Rodgers probably, that news breaks today. I would say within the next 5 hours, if not, the next hour or 30 minutes. But we said that yesterday. So I'm constantly refreshing my phone. I'm constantly looking at X and all the different alerts that I have coming through nonstop. We've got other news we got to get to. And we'll probably do some of that more at the 8 p.m. show. One of those things being that Kareem Hunt signed with the Kansas City Chiefs to remain there for another year. That's good news. That's good news. He's kind of an underdrafted player right now. He's going on underdog promo code Smitty. He's going in like the last round or at least round 18. So 18, 19, 20. So I imagine that's going to climb significantly, but he's still going to be well in the double-digit rounds. So you need a late running back on underdog, deep into the double-digit rounds. Near the end of the draft, Kareem Hunt's a fantastic pick. He might be the starter. Isaiah Pacheco can't stay healthy. I have no faith in him moving forward. It is what it is. We loved him at one point. He's a hard-nosed runner. Love his style, but he's an aggressive player. Kind of the Cooper Kupp aggressiveness at the running back position, which is why I'm so worried about Cooper Kupp staying healthy long term. And for those that think Cooper Kupp is untouchable in your mind, like he is a dog, he's not going to go away, he's so good, keep in mind everyone that pumped up did I say Cooper Kupp? I meant Puka Nacua. Did I say Cooper Kupp? I might have said Cooper Kupp. Everybody that thinks that Puka Nacua is untouchable and that he's, a top 3 wide receiver from here until the end of time, just remember how aggressive people were. You're trying to call? Try one more time, Travis. Try one more time. Just keep in mind how why is the phone line not dialing? Let me see. Try one more time, Travis. I may have to restart the phone line. Let me close the phone line real quick, Travis. Hold on. All right, I'm opening it up again. Try again, Travis. Try right now. Should be good. Yeah, try now. What was I saying? What was I even saying? Oh, Puka Nacua. For those that think Puka Nacua is untouchable, that he's a top 3 wide receiver moving forward. Just remember that Cooper Kupp was higher ranked and rated by everybody. Cooper Kupp was everyone's glorious number 1 locked and loaded wide receiver for the long term. After he had his 2021 season, he was by far and away the number 1 overall wide receiver, by far and away the number 1 overall receiver in Dynasty, by far and away everybody's golden boy. And I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it coming off of that 2021 or that people got their, fooled and they should have seen it coming. I'm not trying to suggest that at all. The demise was quick. But keep in mind that Stafford McVay helped make Cooper Kupp a lot bigger than he really was. And Puka Nacua is in that same situation where you think he's so much better than he is. He's a dog. He's such a likable guy. He really is. It's so easy to root for Puka Nacua. I love the guy. But he plays so aggressive. He reminds me of Isaiah Pacheco at the wide receiver position. Somebody we wanted to love really bad, Isaiah Pacheco, but couldn't stay healthy. The guy is going to injure himself nearly every year. And at some point, there's going to be a catastrophic injury that takes him out for the remainder of half of a season. And I'm just telling you right now, he is 50% dog. He's a harder worker, got more grit than anybody in the National Football League at the wide receiver position. He's like Rudy Rudiger at the wide receiver position. He's a dog, a straight up dog. But the moment that Stafford is gone, and this is a year-to-year situation, just because Stafford came back this year, that is not a long-term commitment to him. McVay even said, and Stafford even said, it's year-to-year. And that's what they did the year prior. Next season, next offseason, it'll be the same exact negotiation. They've already said this. He's not getting paid for the future. He got paid for the now. And so Stafford could be retired or gone next year, regardless of the new deal, because it's not a long-term deal in his mind. What happens to Puka Nacua? Adams is there this year, so his value's already taking a little bit of a hit. I'm just telling you. It's not supposed to be a negative Puka Nacua show. I'm just trying to curb expectation. Because Cooper Kupp had more value than Puka Nacua's ever had. And it was a short-lived situation. As for these two, again, if you're coming in late, according to Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, a deal for both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins expected to be completed within days. Travis, you're live.
Yeah, it's a good point with Puka. Like, if you think about it, imagine what the outlook would be if Puka had missed the last 5 or 6 games of this year instead of missing him in the beginning of the year. People wouldn't be nearly as high. So there's that narrative. And then on top of it, like, with Kupp, remember last year when like, we were pretty high on him, but there were some people that were just assuming he was going to be back to that 2021 Triple Crown type guy. So that narrative can change real fast in people's mindsets. So
also keep in mind
to be aware of.
Also keep in mind during Puka's breakout year, he was behind Cooper Kupp, even though Cooper Kupp missed time. And that's how Puka broke out and flourished.
Right.
When Kupp was on the field, which was more than a handful of games, he outpaced Puka Nacua in touchdowns and in red zone targets. So, like, he was still the number 1 wide receiver that season when on the field, in a lot of categories. So it was tough to see Cooper Kupp going down as fast as he did this year, because if you guys remember, he started off, he was a 3rd rounder. We had him as a total win-a-league player. And he started off the year looking like wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 overall. Like, and I'll even pull up his game log. And then he got hurt, and then Rashee Rice got hurt, and those were 2 of our big time, win a league wide receiver value grabs. and then, both getting injured just kind of, kicked that in the sack. But Cooper Kupp looked like at the beginning of the year he was going to have a top 5 wide receiver season. People forget that was last year. That was last year at the beginning of the year. I'll pull up his game logs. But it's funny how quickly people forget.
Yeah, and I think it was when they both came back. Puka was getting scheme everything, like first looks on everything. And the percentage of like scheme passes, scheme plays to Kupp was insanely low. It was like 10% or less. So that's another thing that could change if he goes somewhere where they decide to make him more of a focal point. He may be good. He may be all right. I know some people think he's, cooked, and he might be, but there's also that factor is that Puka was getting everything schemed to him.
Mm-hmm.
The chat's saying there's an echo right now on my voice. I don't know if it's...
Let's see here. How much of an echo? I mean, is it a little echo? Is it a big echo? Guys? Here, I'll turn you down a little bit.
It, so I don't know.
Phone line, the whole chat is... Okay, what about now? Is it a little bit better? Try now, Travis.
Yeah, let me know, chat, if I'm echoing or not.
Is that a little better?
In the chat.
I adjusted volume on my end, but like looking at Cooper Kupp's game log, like you kind of forget how good he did. Like at the end of the day last year, he only had 710 yards and 6 TDs, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, but look at this stretch he had. And I'm not trying to suggest that Kupp's going to return to form or anything like that. I think he's undervalued a little bit, depending on where he goes. But you start off in September at the bottom here. 110, 1 touchdown, and 14 receptions in week 1. I mean, we were literally celebrating how amazing our Cooper Kupp prediction was going to be. We're like, we called him a league winner. Started off on a tear. 4 receptions for 37 yards the next game, then 5 for 51 and a touch. Then 104 yards on 11 receptions, then 80 yards, then 106 and 2 touchdowns. And then 8 receptions for 60 and a touch. And then he kind of fell apart.
Well, yeah, if you look, it was, he had one bad game mixed in, but it was really the last 3 weeks of the season, like, killed the positive mindset on him, because those 5-6 weeks, 7 games before that, he was averaging 9 targets, 6 for 73, and averaging a touchdown per game.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this. I mean, he again, the missed time. Good. Again, the missed time that was bad. But look, even when he came back, he was solid. Right. He comes back, and he has 51 and a touch, 104, 80, 106 and 2, 60 and 1. Bad game, 92 and 1. I mean, people, this is a pretty good line. This is a pretty good stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight games. 9 straight games. And then, as Travis said, San Francisco, New York Jets, and Arizona Cardinal game, he fell flat for 3 games. But are we willing to write off Cooper Kupp completely off of 3 games when he literally, missed time? I get that's part of the concern. But look at this pace right here. I mean, I don't know what this would be extrapolated to, but I would venture to say this is top 7 wide receiver numbers from this stretch of 9 games. Easy. What?
You're including the first 2. You're including the 2 weeks before he got hurt, right?
I'm including his game log from the week 1, and then he has missed time, but week 1 all the way up through the rest of this is his entire game log for the 2024 season.
Okay. It extrapolates out to 95 catches, 1,006 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm not trying to suggest that he Let me see. We got Atlanta Falcons news here. Let me just see what we got. I'm just waiting for that Aaron Rodgers news. And again, we're hearing, Diana Rossini talk about the Minnesota Vikings still being interested, but there's some local Vikings, reports suggesting that The only person talking about this is Diana Rossini, who is writer for The Athletic. The Athletic and Diana Rossini and a few local people that are excited about hearing about that, so they're reporting it too. So some local people and Diana Rossini. And I'm not trying to say Diana Rossini's bad. I'm not trying to say she doesn't do a good job here or there or whatever, but I do know that there's an awfully weird correlation from when she posts a report and not seeing Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport ever retweet, at least with any sort of consistency at all that I even notice, retweet or confirm or support what she's hearing. It's almost like there's a beef between them, obviously, and they're like, if we're not reporting it and she's reporting it, we wouldn't trust that, is essentially the way I pick up on it. But everyone keeps saying, I don't understand how we're not hearing it anywhere else if this is true. Baker Mayfield could help Cooper Kupp, says Joshua. No, what are you talking about, man? You got Mike Evans, Godwin, and McMillan in Tampa Bay. Why the hell would Cooper Kupp go to Tampa Bay, and how the hell's Baker going to help him? Come on, Johnny. Or no, who was that? Joshua. I mean, this is a Tampa Bay Buck fan. Like, there's no other explanation why someone in their right mind would want a player to go be the number 4 wide receiver for a team. Joshua, get a grip. Anyway. So, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins deal should be done in days, according to Rap Sheet and Tom Pelissero, who I trust a lot more than the reports coming out about Aaron Rodgers right now. Just saying. Anybody else want to dial in real quickly before we're not going to be here too long. This is just a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins breaking news emergency live stream. We'll be going live here very shortly, I believe, on at least one of Kupp or Aaron Rodgers, but I said that yesterday. We're just waiting. Aaron Rodgers is still walking around the beach with a towel, wearing nothing but a towel, it looks like, with old school wired headphones in. I don't even know how you use those anymore. Does anybody have a phone anymore that has a jack to put in wired headphones? I mean,
get the attachment.
Isn't that like a 12 or below? An iPhone 12 or below? I don't know. I'm trying to remember if I just upgraded. I had the 13 Pro Max for a while, and I just upgraded. But I don't think my 13 had a headphone jack.
I think it was with like the 10. You had to start using that dongle. Remember they called it? That you had to, like, put in and then connect the headphones.
Yeah, the headphone dongle.
Yeah. He probably just likes what he likes. He's probably using his old iPod still. He's got the money. He can find him somewhere.
Perry says, I use the wired in. Now, of course you do. We're not talking about you. All right. Yeah, the iPad. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the iPod Nano. Aaron Rodgers still hooks his iPod Nano up to the computer and downloads the music onto it. All right. Where am I taking Jamar Chase in redraft? Number 1, of course. What do I look like? If it's a non-PPR, then no. But I'm taking Jamar Chase if I've got one league at number 1 in PPR or half PPR. Like one underdog draft, and you're picking at 1. You take Jamar Chase. Even if I want to say I never not take Jamar Chase at 1 on underdog. I'm sure there'll be a time where I mix it up a little bit. But the reason I do that is because you rarely get the 1 pick, like math would, numbers and big math would tell you you're going to get it 10% of the time, whatever. But I find myself getting it far less than 10% of the time. I rarely get the 1 pick. And when I get the 1 pick, that's your only time to grab Chase. At the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5, you could get Bijan anywhere in there. At the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, you could get Gibbs. You could get Barkley. You could get JJ. So your ability to grab a lot of different variants in the 2 to 4, in the 2 to 5 overall is present, except for excludes Jamar Chase. So you got to take your shot at Jamar Chase when you can get it in underdog. 100% my number 1 pick.
Dave L in the chat said, who would you target if you were trading away Puka?
If I was trading what?
If you were trying to trade away Puka, who would you be targeting?
Neighbors. And when I trade someone like Puka, I'm trading up. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, like, oh, you should take Puka and turn him into something. No, trade up. Give up more with Puka to trade up. You know, or across position. You need an RB. You need quarterback. You need tight end and wide receiver. You know, and then you get a combo. Then sure. You know, like for example, I like Laporta. He could be an anchor, but you can't trade Puka for Laporta. So, like, what wide receiver could you get with Laporta to equal? Like a Garrett Wilson and Laporta for Puka is something you could explore. I'm not saying that's the best deal. I'm just trying to give you an example. Or, try and get the 1.1 using Puka. Trying to get, call it JD5, in a dynasty, trying to get in a redraft. If you had Puka in a redraft, and no one really has drafted yet for a redraft, but let's say later you want to trade BTJ straight up and take a little bit of a bold stance there, going and getting a Bucky, a Breece Hall, or a Kyron that has third round value with an additional wide receiver or quarterback upgrade or something like that would be significantly interesting to me. And I'm not saying everybody should get rid of Puka, but I just think that people are valuing him way too high. And if you own him, then the market's going to overpay. So I get out. And in Dynasty, I get out because, I mean, of course it depends on the situation, but I think you get out because you can. Not because you think he's going to fail. It's just that his value in Dynasty, I think, will lower into the top of round 2. And right now, his cost of what you can get for him appears to be 4, 5, 6 overall. So that I'm getting out to get that get rid of that value before it levels out down in the 2.1 range. Just because I know that doesn't seem like a big drop, but that's almost you go from 4 to 14. That is significant. That's like as significant as somebody dropping from 15 to 35. It's just a tighter, amount of spots at the top. So it seems like it's not a big deal, but it's a huge deal proportionally. I just think he's going to get hurt. Look, if I would have sat here and I did, to be completely honest, I predicted Cooper Kupp's decline, but I also jumped back on board last year. So he was in a void for me the year prior, and and then I feel like I was right on that, but then when I jumped back on, it ended up being wrong because he got hurt, but he still produced per start. Like in best ball, he was fine, and we just went over his numbers, but I had a lot of reservations about how we were valuing Cooper Kupp and how he became the number 1 overall wide receiver when I didn't feel like he was. I didn't feel like he earned that, and his situation was just glorifying his value. And so you look back on it, nobody's giving Cooper Kupp respect anymore. No one's saying, oh, this is the best receiver we've ever had in fantasy. People were talking about Cooper Kupp like that during 2021 and 2022. He had one great year. We'll be back. Travis, any final thoughts?
No, I think you made a good point with the Higgins contract that he's going to want what DK got.
Oh yeah.
Whether he is or isn't as good as DK, that's going to be his line, And I don't know, maybe he takes $1 million or $2 million less, but I don't know if he will, because they're saying if Jamar Chase isn't taking less, because if Jamar Chase is going to get 40 to 41 million, then why should Higgins take less? I don't know, maybe he will. But
I think the Godwin contract is proof that we never will know for sure on this stuff. But because Godwin should have got 30 million. Godwin would have got, the report is yesterday, he would have got 28 to 30 million from New England. But he turned it down to go get a significantly less deal to stay in Tampa, which, whatever. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. That's kind of, Josh Allen taking 55 million a year instead of 60, which he clearly deserved and earned and should have got. He said he's like, what's 5 million to me? Making 300 million plus on this deal. What am I going to spend? Like, I'd rather my team win a Super Bowl. So like he made a calculated decision. You got to respect that. So I respect Godwin and I respect Josh Allen a hell of a lot for that. But at the same time, I don't predict a lot of players think like that. I think T. Higgins, I like him. He's a good dude. This is not a knock on that at all. But I don't see him, and I don't blame him. I don't see him as the kind of guy that's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to watch Jamar Chase go get this huge bag right here. I'm going to watch my buddy get 40 to 41 to $42 million right now. And then I'm going to be the bigger person and say, I'll take 29. I'll take 27. I'll take 20. No. Again, Godwin proved that we can't ever predict it, but I truly believe that T. Higgins has been putting up such a fight for a while, and not in a bad way, that there's no way he's just folding at this point. He wants $33 million per year now because DK got 33. Will he take 32? I could see that. If you're trying to stand firm on something and you're about to get $32 million, 30, even 31 and a half or something, you're probably like, I know I was going to stand firm, but look, like if I just say yes, I get $31 million this year. Like, that's crazy. You could fold pretty easily. But 32, 33 is what I predict. 40 to 42 is what I predict for him. It's going to be a crazy amount of money. I think the Bengals step up. I know everybody predicting them not to do it, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Joe Burrow's saying he'll restructure however he needs to. If something even emerges in that front, we'll know that this deal's on the way.
Yeah, when you have three elite weapons like that, willing to do a deal, willing to come back, and they're all kind of around the same age at the same point in their career, you got to lock them up. You can build a defense. You can build offensive line. Those elite offensive pieces, they're so hard to get and keep together.
Yeah, and no matter what, you're still trying to make the defense better. It's not anywhere near where it needs to be. You don't want to be trying to do that with both sides of the ball, because then you're like you're losing a little here, you're losing a little here, and you're like trying to put it back together. If you can keep at least one side exactly where it was, which was almost good enough to have this team beat anybody any moment. And even if you lose Hendricks, but you got to pick, you're able to kind of try and replace that, but then you replace the other pieces around it, and then sum total, even if you lost Hendrickson, which was a step backward, if you can take 2 steps forward instead of, just, staying put, then at least this team is on the defensive side, instead of playing at, like, let's say a 40% capacity of solid play, it's at 59. Then the offense is still at 95% go. Then it's go time. Let me go over to Matt real quickly. Matt, this is Matt O. Matt O, you're live. What can I do for you, pal?
Good afternoon, fellas. Cheers. Quick 2 questions. Super excited about the Higgins potential bag. Love it. So how much is this going to push up his ADP, do you think? And is it going to be too much for us? And should we potentially trade Higgins in Dynasty if you can get what you want from him?
It's a great question.
Or would we get too excited about it?
Great question. Higgins staying put is better for his fantasy value, even though many people will want him isolated somewhere like New England, getting, solo targets. But I think the smarter people know that Burrow, an offense he knows, doesn't have to get used to a new offense. They live in the red zone. They live in near the goal line. Playing number 2 in Cincy's better than playing number 1 anywhere else. That's my take anyway. I know some people might vary a little bit on that, but that's fine. That's my take. I think that most people haven't moved him much because they know Like, had we got closer to June or something and he's still holding out, I think you could see him slip into another round. I don't think he'd go 2 rounds or 3 rounds, but if he's going at 25 overall, 20, Travis, what's his ADP right now? If you could look that up. Going 25, 27, 20, whatever. Could he slip, into the 35 range because he's still a threat to hold out, threat to get injured? I think so, but I don't think he's moved much.
25.5 right
yeah.
now, Higgins.
So like that, could he climb to 23? Yeah, but that's like bookend. It's pretty. I mean, it's in theory he's a second rounder now. That might make some people be like, I'm out, but it's still bookend. Where it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I don't know where I draft him. I don't think I draft him as a second drafted player very often at all. I know I wouldn't do it in a non-best ball, like a buddy league. You shouldn't do it in your work league, but a non-best ball, yeah. But in a best ball draft, I've drafted Jamar Chase, Bucky, and T. Higgins, and then Burrow later, tons of times. And I like that a lot. And keep in mind, T. Higgins was so good last year at the end of the year. In the final week, the winner of the Underdog Best Ball Mania had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And you know how it's best ball, it starts your optimal lineup for you. Jamar Chase got benched in that final week because T. Higgins had outscored him by so much. So best ball is perfect for T. Higgins because you don't have to. You're just worried about what he's going to do in any given week, popping off and have those huge spike weeks. And with Joe Burrow, he can have those. I think if he went somewhere else, he maybe have more yards or like maybe more touchdowns. But at the end of the day, I think his stats are better overall in Cincinnati. And I think people know that. So answer the question, long-winded, I'm sorry. I like him in best ball right where he is. I don't think he climbs too much higher. I still take him at 23 in a best ball, but I haven't been taking him in non-best ball or wouldn't, and I will continue not to. In terms of dynasty, I think if you can get like a cross-position trade done that helps you using T. Higgins, take advantage of it if you think you can afford it, meaning I don't think T. Higgins in Dynasty has 23 overall value, 22 overall value, 18 overall value. So if you could go get a Bucky Irving right now across position, if you can go get a Neighbors by giving up T. Higgins and another piece somewhere, if you can give the 1.5 up with T. Higgins to get Neighbors, I smashed the hell out of that. BT, CeeDee Lamb's great to buy low in Dynasty, but you're going to have to trade up. You're going to have to give up way more with T. Higgins to get those players. And then if not, go across position and get Bucky, get Breece Hall, get, even a Kyron I'd be interested in. If I had Quorum or I could get Quorum and Kyron together, I'd trade T. Higgins for both those running backs if I needed running backs.
Perfect. My thought was in a vacuum, I'd probably take Bucky over T. Higgins in Dynasty right now. But that's my thought.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Great answer. Appreciate it.
All right, later, bro. I'm starting to think... I know this is getting crazy, guys. I'm starting to think Bucky could be a top 3 running back this year. I really am. I don't know. I'm not saying that yet, but whenever I say something like this, it usually is a harbinger of things to come for my content. And I usually can tell when I'm starting to go like this and shake and go, I'm going that way. I feel like Bucky Irving has the potential to be, I'm just going to say right now, easily top 5. I'm not saying to count on that. I'm not saying to draft that. I just told you he's in the 3rd round. He's in the 2-3 turn. I think Bucky Irving could easily be, without a hesitation in my mind, a top 5 running back this year. I mean, his forced missed tackle percentages, all just watching him play. I traded for him in a Dynasty League recently, and in hindsight, I think I completely ripped him off now. I did it because I love Bucky. I did it because we're so huge on Bucky. This channel, no one's higher on Bucky than we are, but I'm starting to think I'm going to take it to a whole nother level.
Well, if you look at what he did last year, if you look at how many times he had less than 10 carries in a game and was still putting up, really nice yards per attempt. And then anytime he had like 25 carries, 152, 15 for 117, 20 for 113. You know, anytime he got those, big boy touches, he went through the roof.
Yeah. Matto, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Bucky. You know who else? You know who else is excited for Bucky Irving? Is Kruger. Kruger, you know how high I am on Bucky. I was just telling the live chat audience that I'm higher on Bucky. This channel's higher on Bucky than anybody out there, any YouTube channel. But I think I might take it to a whole nother level, like almost a ridiculously reckless level. I'm thinking top 5 running back numbers is not even, justifiable here. He might be higher than that, Krug.
Absolutely, Smith. Like sleepy defenses when it comes to Bucky Irving. And you know what? Nobody was higher on Bucky than Smitty. The top 5 RB ranking might be just the starting point. This could be a tremendous breakout season. So let's get ready for those shifty, elusive moves.
Hey, Kruger, are we thinking like 1,800 total yards and 15 touchdowns and 70 receptions or 65 receptions is in the cards for Bucky? Is that too wild of a take?
Not at all, Smitty. Those numbers might seem bold, but with Bucky's talent and your confidence, they're definitely within reach. The way you see it, he's going to be a major offensive weapon. So if anyone can hit those marks, it's Bucky Irving.
Get buckied, Kruger. Get buckied. Now hold tight.
Get buckied, folks. I'm holding tight, ready for the next move. Got it. What's next?
I think we're done for today. Or not today, this show. We'll be back on breaking news. You know what? I'm also thinking, like, I love what Denver's doing right now, and
Yep. I do too.
There's a lot of chat. There's a lot of chatter right now. A lot of team pages, and teams saying, what if we did, so it's hard to even know like what's coming out of what area or what coaches' thinkings, and there's no way to know what Sean Payton's thinking because he literally will not tell you, and he even said this, and I keep emphasizing this just so people know that Sean Payton will not tell you what he's doing because he told you that the moment that he knows anything about Javonte, when Javonte was going to be put on potentially the PUP coming off his ACL tear, he said, once I know, I won't even tell you. He said, don't trust me when I tell you about my running backs. He might be on the PUP, he might not be on the PUP, and I wouldn't tell you even if I knew. So he's not going to tell anybody anything. We have no clue. The only thing people can really connect dots on is like visits and, when personnel are in interviewing or in position to watch a player and visit, the visits and the communication, or an agent leaking something to create buzz potentially to move a player up. Those are the only things you have. There's no team coming out and saying, we really like this, but I'm starting to really think that Denver and LV and Chicago are the top 3 landing spots for Genty. If Denver, the team that drafts Genty might trade up to get him. I don't know that the team that drafts Genty will be in a spot that they started the draft with. I think he's that polarizing. And I could see Denver. I mean, where's Genty in Denver versus LV? Probably higher. And Sean Payton made Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
Sean Payton trusted Alvin Kamara, and I think we're a little bit delusional because we're pissed off about how he won't have one elite running back because he's not been trusting Javonte. He'll throw, Estime in there.
The right guy.
And if he trades up for Ashton Genty, there's no messing around with his workload and dividing up stuff at any crazy significant degree. I think that Denver is becoming a dark horse Ashton Genty landing spot. And you hear whispers of all these teams being a dark horse spot, but I really believe this might be the place. I hope it's not the Bears. I don't hate the Bears. I just don't want it. And it's not my favorite. The Raiders are probably second right now. Washington might be my first spot for a running back, and I know that they're not in the race for Genti. I mean, obviously, but if they trade it up, but I don't think we can expect that. But of the likely spots, I'm really feeling that Denver is going to start being mentioned, and because it's such an obvious thing in hindsight, right? You have the guy that took Alvin Kamara. You have the guy that made Alvin Kamara into one of the biggest monster running backs in the history of fantasy football, and the longevity that Kamara has brought, the trust he had in his duality, and Ashton Genti and Alvin Kamara play very similar. And he's been struggling to have one running back. He does run multiple backs, but he does that in a way that he still has a full-time guy. Kamara was never sharing carries. Anybody thinks Kamara under Sean Payton was sharing carries. He wasn't sharing carries. They had a rotation because you can't ask, one running back, especially one that is like a morphed wide receiver running back like Genti and Kamara. You can't ask them to run the ball 25 times and catch 8 passes. And so you need another player. But this is Jahmyr Gibbs. This is, Alvin Kamara. And Denver has been rotating not because Sean Payton doesn't like one running back. I think he rotates because he doesn't have the trust and faith in the running backs he has to be that guy, and he's going to go get it. Plus, it's time to go get his guy. And we know that Sean Payton wants his specific players. This could be it. I hope it is, actually. It's becoming a dark horse favorite of mine.
And they can afford to do it in terms of the draft because that defense is good to go. They just added Greenlaw and Hufanga to it. It was already elite. So they can afford to move draft picks and jump up the board with no problem.
Yeah. Daniel, you're live real quickly, and then I'll jump out of here, boys. Daniel, what can I do for you?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Right on. Just a little Cooper Kupp thing. What do you think about Kupp to either Las Vegas or Denver? I don't really like him in Jacksonville, but I think Las Vegas and Denver are two good landing spots for him.
Yeah, Denver's one of my favorite spots. We talked about that last night. Probably the best spot is Denver. The second best spot would be New England, but mainly because he get the targets.
Drake May could use a dog.
Yeah,
Drake May could definitely use a dog like him for sure.
And again, I'm not trying to suggest that he's the same guy, but looking at these numbers, I mean, I just don't understand why everyone's completely off the train. It doesn't make sense. I mean, he had a good year. He got hurt. That's part of the problem. We're worried about him getting hurt, but look at the numbers. The numbers are right in front of everyone's face, but yet everybody's, what have you done for me lately? And I know there's the playoffs as well, but you've got 29 yards on 1 reception, 24 yards on 3, 0 receptions with 3 targets. It's not like he didn't play this game. He had 0 receptions with 3 targets. But then before that, he was pretty damn good. I don't understand why there's no value. And a team's going to pay him about 10 to 12 million per year on a 2-year deal. That's the announcement that we're probably going to hear. It's going to be 10 million or more. People are going to say, "Oh, Cooper Kupp doesn't deserve 10 million a year. What is going on here?" He's going to get 10 to 12 million dollars per year. Could be more, but probably going to be something along those lines. And I think a team's getting somebody that still has the potential to be a 900 to 1,000-yard receiver and 6 to 8 touchdowns, really. I'm not saying that it's a lock, but I'm looking at the number. Would somebody explain it to me? You're telling me that for a fact Kupp is done because of these 3 games at the top of this screen? Because everything else looks great. I don't know.
Yeah, and then another note too on McMillan over in Tampa. His ADP's dropping like crazy since they signed Godwin, and man, I'm still all over him because Godwin may not be ready at the beginning of the season, and who knows how long Mike Evans lasts. So I think Godwin still has the potential to be big on redraft.
Oh yeah, Godwin's going to be.
I'm sorry, not Godwin. I'm sorry, McMillan. McMillan still has a chance to be a big player on
Oh,
redraft.
McMillan, yeah.
Quietly.
As I said last year, bro. McMillan, I said this last year. McMillan's going to start a couple games by himself, and he he did. So I there's going to be a time where he's at least the number 2 for a handful of games. That's either Mike Evans gets hurt or Godwin gets hurt. But there's a strong chance again that both get hurt, and McMillan's the lone starter for like a handful of games. And that's great in best ball.
Yeah, and if it comes at the end, if it comes at the end of the season, that's big for. That's when you need them.
Yeah. I'm a little scared of Kupp turning into Stephon Diggs with Houston. I don't know what. Yeah, are you know, like Diggs from like a mentality perspective? What are you talking about? You talking about like just taking down a team's camaraderie? Like what do Diggs and Kupp have anything to do with each other? The fall off might be there, but I'm showing you evidence as to why there's a chance that Cooper Kupp defies everybody's doubt.
Diggs was producing before he got hurt. Surprised, like it was surprising, but I don't know what.
I mean, injuries a concern. Injuries is the main concern. All right, boys. I'll see you later. We'll be live. Let me just open up. Let me figure out if we've got any breaking news anywhere. Again, we had some stuff that came out today. Is X down again? It's like having a problem. Big time contracts getting close between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That news is the main thing kind of buzzing right now and humming. We got some potential Dallas Goedert trade rumors. That's weird. I don't know if I think a team's
and the Eagles are offloading, huh?
Well, a little bit. I do wonder about their defense. You know, like they lost a lot of guys. I know they replenish well. They draft really well, but still, like, you know, that's not a good answer when somebody says, "Hey, how do you feel about the Eagles defense?" Oh, they'll find a way to replenish. Like this defense, this specific defense is why they won a Super Bowl. So it's a great question that we should be, I think, kicking around a little more than, oh, they'll draft some guys. You know, it was a
pass rush. They got to make sure they fix that. Make sure they keep that going because they still have the core guys with like Carter, Mitchell, and Eugene, but all those other guys they got to fill in, or they're gonna have trouble getting to the quarterback.
Okay, let me show you guys this, Daniel. I don't know if you're watching the screen right now, or if you're pulling up the show, but you know, how do I say this gently? This news, if it's news, I don't know if it's fake. I don't think it is. I can't guarantee that it's real. Just so you guys know. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, should be quite alarming. This is a photo of Najee Harris. Again, I'm not 100% certain when it was taken. I'm not 100% sure if there isn't some sort of, you know, alteration here. But it's being kicked around, and in all the comments of wherever it was posted, there was no like, "Hey, this is fake," or was, you know. So I don't know, but this is going around, circling around, that Najee. This is Najee right now. If this is Najee right now, everything that I
Najee's
said,
been hanging out with Debo,
Eddie Lacy. If this is Najee right now, and I know some are gonna say it's off season, chill out, like. That's not how it works, guys. Your body is traumatized when you try and drop significant weight and go straight into, like, that's how injuries happen. And this guy has been injury free his entire career. He's never missed a game, which is super impressive. But if this is true, and I don't know that it is, because why would they? I mean, they had to have brought him in, talked to him. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine them signing him I just don't know. I don't know if it's real, but this was crazy, man. Someone said baggy clothes, bro. Come on, stop. It's weird how so many people defend him though. Like if you bring this up anywhere, there's like 3 or 4 people that get really, really upset. Like
those baggy clothes are tight on him.
Is this is the aggressive defense mechanism? Is that from somebody that's got a couple of extra that are trying to defend their own mind or something? Because when I saw this, I worked out immediately. I got on the bike and I said, I think I'm carrying an extra 15 pounds right now that I shouldn't be carrying, and he's drinking water, which is nice, but I mean, I don't know. This feels like this is going to be tough for him to walk in and stay healthy, even though he has never missed a game. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of work to do.
Man, I can't imagine he got that big that quick.
Yeah, I wonder if this is real. But nobody's disputing it though. Wherever it's posted. And so I mean, I comb through comments because usually comments are pretty good at letting you know if something's real or fake. And not one person I could find was like, no, there's a picture of him, here yesterday. Look at him, and he looks great on the field. I don't know. That's why I said I was cautious to really even bring it up because I don't have any sort of confirmation with today's AI and everything. You really just don't know what's real and what's not anymore. So like without any sort of confirmation, like would be somebody saying like Schefter, here's Najee at a press conference yesterday. And then everyone's like, whoa, like that would be confirmation. We have this is a photo. Somebody snapped. I don't know who snapped it. I don't know if it was one of his teammates going, let's put this up and motivate this man. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to monitor that. We could see a photo of him next week where he looks great. So let's keep an eye on it, is all I'm saying. Because if that's where he's at right now, in his off-season, workout regime, we're in some trouble. We're in some trouble, and I wouldn't draft him.
Smitty, if that's him, that's going to be the new Najee emoji.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, I don't know. I love the baggy clothes defense. Like Logan's still saying, Logan, you're still clinging to it. Man, you all are wild. Logan, what are you talking about? Like, Logan, call in real quick. What are you even talking about? Like, I understand if you're like, let's see if it's real or whatever. But, like, you're like, his baggy clothes, bro. You guys are all wild. Like, why are you defending that this is a good thing for a running back that's got to fend off injury? Like, well, I don't understand.
They are baggy. They are baggy clothes, but he sure fills them out pretty good.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like it's a deceptively. It's not a deceptive outfit. Yeah. This is not a hoodie, where you're like, I wonder what's going on. Like this is a pretty clear indication, but like what are we talking about? How are we wild for wondering if this is going to end up leading to injury, Logan? And what's the defense here? I mean, feel free to call. I'm very genuinely curious why we're wild and how you think this is baggy clothes. What angle is this coming from? Logan, how many shares do you have of Najee? Did you just trade for him? Did you just trade for him in a redraft and a dynasty? Did you draft him in 87 straight best ball leagues? There's no other reason you're going to be in here going, that's wild. That's wild. You guys, those are baggy clothes. That's the angle. Those are shadows. Those are shadows. Yeah, that's the glare through the water bottle he's holding. It's casting some sort of water shadow around him, a silhouette.
It definitely. So have you've seen the bigger picture? It's him at the Chargers facility, right?
I
or is that
think
at an airport.
I think so. Let me see if I can find Najee Harris.
I'm trying to figure out if
photo at Chargers.
trying to make sure the picture is real.
Okay, here's a photo from. He looks different here. This is why I said it could be AI. This is him walking into. He doesn't look the same. That might be AI doctored. There's a photo of him walking into. Yeah, I think that photo might be.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that. Too much weight on that.
Yeah, because look, here's one. This is him walking into the facility on day one. Doesn't look big at all there. AI, that's what I'm saying. AI is crazy, man. That's not the same. There's no way. There's no way. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's also a Charger photo that I just showed you, the slim down one. That's from the Chargers website. He looked a lot different in those two photos. I think the bigger one could be fake. That's why I brought it up carefully, because I wanted to like examine it. You know, I wanted to be careful with it. But then again, hold on. I mean, Travis did send me this one. I just don't know if this is real or not.
That's what I'm wondering. I can't tell if that.
Can you find the this photo? This is the bigger photo Travis has sent, and that's the same photo, and he does look huge there. Can you find the original photo coming from the Chargers? Like,
right, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Because that does look. Is that inside the Chargers facility? Hold on. What's on the background? What's on the TV in the background? There's a picture of who's holding up that jersey in the background. What's the date of that?
Darnold. It's Seahawks holding up a Darnold jersey.
Okay. So this is a recent photo of Najee, if the photo is real. Then
someone says it says Keenan Allen at the Chargers facility. I don't know, are they meetings with him? Like, why would he be there? Used to be on the Chargers. And that's Harbaugh on the right.
Like, in the background of the photo, let me put this up on screen so people know what I'm talking about here, or what we're talking about. So in the background of the photo, the original photo of Najee in the bigger image, we'll call it, which there's nothing wrong with. It's just when you're running back, it's all about staving off injury, not about how anybody looks. Okay, so calm down. It's okay. He can be however he wants to be. That's totally up to him. But here's the actual photo. You can see it's the exact same. But it could still be an augmented photo. But if you look in the background on the TV, that does look like Darnold holding up his jersey. Okay. The French fries and all the food on the table don't help. It does look like it is Keenan Allen in the bottom left. This is Keenan Allen bottom left today at the Chargers facility with eyeball emojis, meaning that Keenan Allen might be returning to the Chargers, which would be a very good move, to be honest. So that's interesting. This appears to be 21 hours ago, right? Right, Travis? This is a fresh screenshot.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So maybe 21 hours ago, Darnold holding up his jersey. So we're dating this. Yep. Keenan Allen in the bottom left corner, unless that's not Keenan Allen and somebody's wilding out there. I don't know, man. It's tough to say. The other photo shows him a lot more slender. It's hard to know.
He doesn't look as bad at the press conference either. I can tell.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot slender. You know what? They have him walking into the facility. He doesn't look that heavy, no. Yeah, I'm gonna call cap on this. He looks pretty decent in this photo. Well, you know what's crazy?
I don't know. like in that picture where he looks fat, like it's the way he's standing, and then it's the sweatshirt he has on is wicked short. Like it's a little deceiving too, maybe, when you really start picking it apart.
You know what's crazy though is this is the exact same day. So
yeah,
the photos that I'm breaking down here is the exact same day. The photo where he looks a lot larger is the same day of him walking into the facility looking slender. So maybe we kind of maybe we don't owe, what's his name? Maybe we don't owe Logan a total apology, but maybe Logan's a little bit more right than I admitted at the beginning. Logan, let me put your comment on baggy clothes. Logan's probably more correct than I am.
You've just been...
Yeah, the short.
Don't get carried away, Logan. Don't let it go to your head. This is crazy because this doesn't look like baggy clothes. Like this looks like a totally different problem. But this is the individual on the right's wearing the exact same clothes, and Harbaugh's wearing the same clothes in the other photos that I can find on the website. And this is the exact same outfit that Najee's wearing. He takes off the hoodie, but it's still a wild photo. Maybe somebody stretched it out.
Could be. Yeah, it's hard to know.
Okay, well, the good thing we investigated it live, because like I said, I wasn't sure. I was very careful how I approached this because I didn't want to start insinuating that we knew for a fact that this was going to be factual or the right information. Smitty thinks I think he got, what do you say? He got that shirt at Ross. Logan, after the last comment, I'm going to trust you on that one. All right, I got to go, boys. We'll be back. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Travis.
Later
guys.
Bye.
Well, that was good investigation work. Najee Gate, as D-Town says, has been officially debunked. Live on this show, as we do it naturally, live and honest and unbiased. And I even yelled at Logan because Logan said that those are baggy clothes. I don't think it was baggy clothes, though. I think Logan, it's got to be somebody messing with the photo. That's why we live in such a dangerous world right now with AI. It's hard to know what's true and what's not. After this photo analysis, I feel like eating a hamburger. Well, I'm still glad I worked out on the bike last night, and I'm going to start working out. I even asked Kruger what we need to do to get me to the ideal weight. He told me exactly what to do. He said you need to get on the bike this many minutes. You do this for 35 days, you'll be at your ideal weight. And I'm using, for anybody that wants to do this with me, I'm using the core board as well, trying to do this exercise and hold it for 45 seconds. And if I can do that and Nordic curls, where I get on my knees and put my feet at the bar and lower myself down with my hamstrings and touch the floor with my chest and raise myself back up. If I can do that 5 times, I think, or 4, on top of a 45-second dragon flag hold like this, I win a core board for one of you. But go to stoicinnovations.com, use code Smitty. Let me see, stoicinnovations.com. Let me paste that URL into the live chat. Go to stoicinnovations.com, click that link, use code Smitty to get 10% off your core board, and it's an unbelievable way to work out. It's a total facility all in one with the bands and the bar and the curl handles, everything. I love it. Smitty. Okay. We'll see you all later. I'll be back. If there's any breaking news whatsoever, you know the drill. We go live when breaking news happens. Drop the new emojis. Drop the BBQ emoji. We've got a few other emojis as well. Let me show you a few of them. We've got this emoji right here. BBQ's number 1. We got the new BTJ emoji, by the way, if anybody didn't realize that one's new. I'll put a Hampton emoji in there. Hampton, just for right now, Hampton's in there. We got a Jamar Chase emoji back. We got a Barkley emoji, which is nice and well-deserved. Of course, the Bucky, that's not new. I had to get rid of a few. So here's the emojis, and then of course the Kruger emoji. Yeah, but those emojis I just dropped are semi-new. BTJ, Hampton. Where's our Genty emoji? That's not new, but I want to make sure if we're gonna drop Hampton, we got to drop Genty. And then we also have the Barkley emoji. The Chase emoji is new. We took them on and off at times because we needed to make room for some people. I took off Mars, Moon, Saturn. I left Jupiter because there's no Jupiter emoji, but there is a Saturn emoji. There's no Mars emoji either, but you can use that red dot. And I just figure, open up some space. But Jupiter needs an emoji because that's our top shelf.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside.
To Jupiter.
That's our top shelf product there. See you all when Aaron Rodgers or Cooper Kupp news breaks, or, whenever.